Hi guys, it's a big weekend of rugby. I was just watching Ulster and Scarlets playing there, and then I watched Connacht against Benetton. Just want to talk about those two games briefly. So, James McNabney, what a game, McNabney. Good to see Stockdale back as well, playing better. He had a really good game. Um, Sloppy from Ulster in a lot of parts, but yeah, no, they got the win. Hard fought win as well. Nick Timney was massive. Alan O'Connor as well, getting a really good try. Just a really gutsy performance by them. But if you really want to be challenging for the URC title and whatever, you want to be doing better than that. Like you want to be going even further than that. Not beating the likes of Scarlets by just 2 points in your home ground, and Ulster's home form has not been great, but no, look, got a good win. James McNabney's leg drive and everything was super, and it's good to see James Hume back. Good kicking as well from um, it was Jack Murphy, yeah, Jack Murphy, a fly half who did very well, really good kicking. It's really come on from him, and then Jake Flannery getting out for a bit as well, just to have a run around. So that's good. That is it, and the scrum looked a lot more solid as well. What I will say is very poor start by Ulster. They got undone with a kick, a simple chip kick over the top from Gareth Davies, where he saw the space and he was looking up. There was nobody in behind, and he just popped it over the top, and they got an easy try. And Scarlett's brought it. That young fella Max Page looks like a really good player on the right wing for them. Johan Lloyd, I was surprised like he didn't get into the Welsh team, but look, it was still like Ulster got the win, in tough conditions, and you're there thinking to yourself, fair play to them. They toughed it out. It's good to see them back to winning ways, and Jack Murphy kicking so well, and his brother Ben playing so well for Connacht. And that brings us nicely on to Connacht. Connacht are terrible at holding on to a lead. They really are. Like you think to yourself, 12-0 lead, Dave Heffernan put the ball down. What was he doing there? Hookers, there wasn't a time now when hookers were getting loads of tries because of mauls, but maul defence has gotten so much better. And it needed to be because everyone was just mauling the shit out of it and hookers were getting loads of tries, but that's not the case anymore. And so you're rarely going to get an opportunity to get a try, and he butchered that. Let Rhino Smith knock the ball out of his hands so easily. I just thought, put the fucking thing down. That's his own fault. Shane Bolton had a really good game. Seamus Hurley Langton, two non-Irish born players showing them how it's done. Really, it's not good to see, but it's good that you have those players. Prendergast had a good game as well, and then Kane Tracy on the left wing started off brilliantly. Went out with the game as it went on, but had a good game in general. Cahill forward as well, always massive. Really good performance from him. Not overly impressed by the Connacht front row, I have to say. Don't think they're great. I think they're a weak link. Certainly without the likes of Finlay Balaam in there, you think to yourself, with him back, it would look a lot better. Peter Dowley, experienced, but kind of a has been at this stage, and not too not too overly fond of Ainger on the tie head side, if I'm being honest. I don't think he's up to much. He's not doing an awful lot. Just looks wrecked a lot of the time. When you're there kind of going, he's in the emerging Ireland squad, and we have a very big shortage of props and good props. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what they're planning on doing, but we'll see. That Sam Illo looked good when he came on. Certainly would have liked to have seen him get more game time because Ainger looked gassed. So thought to myself, put on Illo sooner. With 30 minutes left, see what he can do, and he was better. When he came on and got a scrum penalty. So get him some game time. Connacht were just sloppy, to blow a 12-0 lead and then be, I think, 27-12 down at one stage, or 26. I'm just thinking now. Yeah, I think they were 27-0 down and they kicked another penalty and then got themselves up. But Connacht made hard work of that, just like they did the Cardiff game. And they need to put the games to bed sooner, much sooner. It's not good enough. Their back row looks impressive, I will say. Second row sometimes depends on who you start. Um, that O'Connor looked good in second row. So Ben O'Connor is his name. I haven't really seen him play, but looked good. Looked very decent. JJ Hanrahan didn't kick too badly when he came on. I believe he's gone back to Munster. Benetton were good though. Benetton brought a real fight and a good spirit to that game. But I'd like to see better game management from all the Irish provinces. And that brings us on nicely to the weekend. So, Le Crunch. Oh, it's going to be interesting. So, obviously, everybody's thinking, lots of people are saying France are going to beat Ireland. I don't know. There's a 6-2 split for Ireland and a 7-1 split for France. So, we're going to see, does that work for France? I think it's ballsy. I think against Italy, it was experimental. You always thought France would win. But I guess I was kind of thinking France would win, but it's just by how much, and they absolutely dominated, and they saw that they got good luck with that 7-1 split, so they obviously thought, fuck it, we'll go with it again. Wise call, I think it really was. I think physically they're going to bring it there, and we have to be prepared for that. Finally, we've gone with a 6-2 split. Personally, I feel like we should have gone with it sooner. But, look, everyone's saying a France win. I'm not. I'm saying an Ireland win. And what I'm going for, my prediction, and I'll put it up. I don't have my whiteboard with me. I don't have access to my little box room today. But I think Ireland will win 28-23. 5-point victory. Hardly fought, but I think where Ireland will get on top of France will be in the aerial battle if we kick. And I think that's maybe why Osborne is in, because he's a former GA player. So him, Hugo Keenan, you've got James Lowe, Robbie Henshaw in midfield. I think we go for that high ball. France are weak under the high ball. They're not weak in an awful lot of areas, but I feel like under the high ball, that's where we can get them. The aerial battle, we can win. I think we're stronger in the centres. I'd much rather see a partnership of Aki and Henshaw than Moefana and Barassi. I feel like France are weak in that area, and that's somewhere we can look to target. Yeah, but France are lethal when they get into space with the back three, so that's something we got to watch because they just can create something from nothing. You know, Prendergast starting, when you see the 15 missed tackle stats, France are coming down his channel. They're going to send traffic his way all day long, and we got to be ready for it. Aki will be in beside him, protecting him, and yeah, no Tyg Furlong, which is very disappointing, but we move on. 6-2 split is a good idea. It's going to suit us well for this game. Because you have to think to yourself as well. You can be pig-headed and think about what you want to do, but you also have to think about the power of the opposition. And there's a lot of power going through. Massive pack and speedy backline, So, yeah, it's going to be something we need to watch out for. Looking forward to it, though. It's going to be an absolute cracker of a game, I can just tell. We're going to have to weather a physical storm. And the fact that Cian Healy's on the bench worries me a lot because Porter will be given an absolute torrid time against Wayne Antonio. Dorian Aldegheri's a strong fella as well. You can imagine Wayne's only going to do about 45 minutes and then Aldegheri will come on for about 30-35 minutes. But yeah, I think we need to give Porter more of a break. He does too many minutes, but it's like flogging a dead horse trying to get this across. They just keep playing Porter for too long and then throwing Healy on for 5, maybe 4 minutes. It's just so stupid, but it might bite us in the arse. I don't think it will. I think we'll be alright, and I think we'll get the win. So 28-23, that's my final prediction for the Ireland game. Moving on to the England game, I feel like that's a foregone conclusion. Italy have never beaten England in the Six Nations, and England just seem to have the psychological edge over them all the time. But Italy have been good. Italy can score tries, and I think they will score tries against England. But I think the England attack will click. Italy just haven't been consistent enough. They got absolutely walloped by France, and I feel like England will see that this is a game they need to get 5 points. Because actually, look at the table. Everybody's ruling England out and saying it's between Ireland and France. Let's just say hypothetically, right, that Ireland lose. Hypothetically, of course, because I don't think they will. But so if Ireland lose to France and we don't get a bonus point, I think we'll get a losing bonus point even if we lose, right? And I don't think France will beat us with a bonus point. Maybe they will. They can score tries from anywhere, as he said, but you never know. But let's say they beat us without a bonus point and we get a losing bonus point. That puts us on 15 points. We should have gotten a bonus point win against Wales. We didn't, so that leaves us in a bad spot. France have taken maximum points off the weaker teams in the Six Nations, so they now have plus 91 points in their favour. I think we have 28 in our favour, so not great, not really where you want to be if I'm being honest, but screw it. That's where we are, So if it comes down to being level on points with France, they're winning that because they've got a much better points difference. So comes back to bite you in the arse, but we get a losing bonus point against France. That means we have to beat Italy with a bonus point win, because I fancy France to beat Scotland with a bonus point win. And given that France have maximised their games, they got a losing bonus point against England. They could have even gotten, if they'd been more clinical, they would have won the game, but if they'd been even more clinical, they would have gotten 2 bonus points. So they could have gotten a bonus point for 4 tries and then a losing bonus point for losing by less than 7. They only lost by a point. What a game it was, and what a performance by England, in fairness to them. So just, looking at it hypothetically, if France beat us, that puts them on 15, and then that means if they get a bonus point win against Scotland, which I think is very likely they could do, we showed how frail Scotland are, and so did Italy at times, and we'll see how they get on against Wales, but that puts France on 20 points. If they get 20 points, then that means that it comes down to points difference, which they are very high on, which we are not. Wales was a chance to maximise points, and then we're away to Italy, so we'll have to get a bonus point win. Now, ideally for Ireland, what you would say is just win your next 2 games, don't worry about bonus points or nothing, but get over the line and win. Nobody's going to judge you if you don't get bonus points as long as you win the thing. But if France beat us and they get a winning bonus point, that puts them on 5. And then I fancy them to get the win against Scotland. So it really is a must-win game. I think Ireland will do it. But England are someone who you can't write off either. So look at England, okay? Yes, they're only on 10 points, but they have the 2 weakest teams in the Six Nations. And you might say, oh yeah, well, Wales are on the up. I don't think Ireland performed well enough. And no disrespect to Wales, I feel like we were very poor rather than Wales were excellent. Although there was definitely more attacking flair. And I mean, any attack would have been good, considering the heap of shit that Warren Gatland had them playing. But Blair Murray, an exciting player, but I still fancy England will beat Wales and could look to get a bonus point win. No reason why not. They certainly will. But if they beat Italy with a bonus point win and they beat Wales, that puts them on 20 points as well. By how much, they'll know that they have to go big. So England could still win it, If France beat us and they don't get a bonus point, and they beat Scotland and they don't get a bonus point, England could still win it, because that'll only put France on 19 points. England win both their next 2 games with winning bonus points, that puts them on 20. And if Ireland, if we lose to France and we don't get a losing bonus point, then there's a lot that could happen. It's getting exciting, but we could more or less wrap it up if we beat France, which I think we will. I think England will beat Italy by 32 points to 14, so an 18-point victory. they're not very exciting, England. Not really. They're very boring, very basic. I think Scotland showed everyone the blueprint on how to beat England. And England concede a lot of tries out wide, as do Ireland. But if you look at the tries scored by France, the wingers absolutely annihilated England. So as good as Tommy Freeman has been, he still got beaten quite easily. BL Barry got 2 tries, nearly got another. Ollie Slideholm covered brilliantly. BL Barry drifting off his left wing onto the right wing to set up Damien Penaud. Really good. The French wingers are in top form. 4 tries between them against Wales, and then running riot again. BL Barry getting 2 and Teo Adesogbi getting 1. They're always scoring. I wish our players need to do more of that. Our backs need to step up a lot more. But I still think England in the pack will have too much for Italy. I think they'll get penalties. They'll take them. They'll play a boring style, but they'll just look to kind of steamroll England. And the England pack has been impressive, to be fair. Like, they stood up to France, which we need to do now. It actually gives me hope because we managed the England pack quite well, and they managed France. France are not this unbeatable team that everybody seems to make them out to be. That being said, they have the potential to beat anyone if that team doesn't show up. So we got to show up big time. But yeah, with England, I think England will win because Italy are disorganised. They have good moments, but it's just moments. They're very porous in defence, and they will concede tries. Scotland got 5 against them. France, Jesus, got unlimited amounts against them. Wales even managed to score 2 against them with no attack whatsoever, so they are porous. If you go through the middle, Juan Ignacio Brex has actually missed 8 tackles. I was thinking of him as this little pit bull in the midfield, and Tommaso Menoncello hasn't been outstanding. Certainly not at the level we know we can play at. But Tommy Freeman, Ollie Slideholm, and then pretty put Marcus Smith again at fullback. I think it'll be a bit of a free for all, and I think England will just get on top. They'll take their penalties. They'll get a comfortable enough victory, with a bit of a scare maybe from Italy, but 32-14. I think England will get the bonus point win. I think they'll be like, we need to actually wrap this shit up. We need to start performing better, because if we don't, there are teams that can catch us, and beat us if we don't show up. And Wales have shown that they're here to play now. So, and I mean, the Welsh always want to beat the English, of course. 32-14, and then Scotland against Wales. Now, it's kind of a tricky one. I don't really know how to predict this, because Scotland have shown they can score tries. They're very prolific in the back line. The back line is very impressive to watch. With Wales, I really don't know. It's going to be a hard one to call. Scotland again, all bark and no bite, really. They talk a good game, but they just don't deliver. They had a really good performance against England, really good. They were very good, and they showed what they can do, but they don't back it up. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's going to be a hard one to call. It's going to be a close one this weekend. Not necessarily close, but just I feel like all the scores will be around the same range. I went big scoring in the England-Scotland game, and it was anything but. Then the Ireland game, jeez, that was anything but as well, wasn't it? Terrible game in the end. So I'm going to say I think Scotland will beat Wales, and they'll beat them comfortably enough again. Wales will put on a show, though, I do think, and it'll be 34-18 to Scotland. So a 16-point victory. I feel like Wales have started clicking in attack, and they'll kind of surprise Scotland with that. Scotland won't be expecting much from them. But that Scottish backline won't be tested as much as they have been already, and I think when they're not tested, they can put brilliant things together. It's just they're not consistent enough. But we probably get to see a taste of just how good they are, and I think their backs will destroy Wales. And 34-18, yeah, that's what I'll go with. So we have Ireland 28-23, I hope, as well. So that there's definitely a bit of wishful thinking in this. I'm not even letting the notion of a French win come into my head. Like, no, no, Ireland are gonna win. I'm not even allowing myself to think that we're gonna lose to France. Fuck that. 5 point win. But as I say, I don't care as long as we win. We get a win. I'm happy as Larry. Um, yeah, England 32-14, comfortable bonus point win. Italy maybe getting 2 tries, which they're capable of. They're more than capable of, but they're not going to win. No chance, not against England. England will be comfortable enough in that game, I would imagine, and they'll kind of look to go to the pack and then crash ball. Very basic. I showed you before when England played Ireland, but it's 3 1-up carries. Very simple. Then a quick pick and go maybe from Alex Mitchell. Then they chip the ball in behind. It's very basic, very simple, and very boring. But they have the size to do it. Scotland showed that if you take them on in the back line, you can beat them. They just didn't have the weaponry to finish England off, and they could have done. It was so frustrating because you're like, for all the shite talk that Scotland have been given, they actually brought a really good game, and they deserved to win. And through very poor kicking by the talisman Finn Russell, and the try that shouldn't have been a try for Tommy Freeman, but um, yeah, they lost by a point. In England, they're becoming the new South Africa, as people are saying, um, getting victories by a point. So you got to know how to win ugly. That's the sign of a good team, as they say. In England, they've certainly shown glimpses that they are good, but not enough. And a lot of fucking kicking. Like, you would think with Ireland we kick a lot because we're GA players, but we do kick. But I actually think we should kick a lot on Saturday because France are weak aerially. I've seen that. I feel like that's where we can target. Adesogby looks weak under a high ball. Leo Barry looks very good under a high ball. Louis Bielbarré looks weak under a high ball. The centres are not great. I'm not gone on that centre partnership of Barassi and Mofana. Certainly when you think of combinations like Jonathan Dante and Gael Fickou, you think that's solid. That's a really solid base. They can mix and match with the best. Or Mathieu Bastareaud and Maxime Marmoz. Or Kevin Sanzel. They've got a lot of good players. I don't know why they went with this partnership, but they did. That's up to them. And Henshaw and Aki, I think, will get dominance in that area if they target it. But yeah, then with Scotland, it would be 34-18. Wales's attack, I think, will click, but I think Scotland will have enough to get over the line. Going to be an interesting weekend, it will be. The back line for Scotland will get a couple of tries, though. The tries we should have gotten against Wales if we actually bothered our arse to show up that game, and actually pass. That pass by Jamie Osborne, I don't know how he didn't make it for Ringrose. Would have put us 17-3 up, and you find it very hard for Wales to come back after that, but that's Ireland, isn't it? Inconsistency, but I still hope we win, of course. I think we will, but we're going to have to show up big time. That 7-1 split could work against France, or it could work for them, and they could absolutely steamroll us and just take us to Pound Town. So our forwards are going to need the front up because there's a storm coming. There's a storm coming. And I really hope we can. Era Dunvua. Come on, Ireland. And yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Ireland can do it? I hope so. Shawnee K, you didn't think so, but have faith, brother. I believe we can. So let's do it. Alright, guys, it's long fall. Come on, Ireland.